Deep Meditation with Bodhisattva Sri Swami Premodaya, recorded live in Los Angeles. Loving yourself.
Okay. Relax. For the next hour, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do except be here. So let your eyes fall closed and let your whole attention come back to yourself. Wherever you've been today, whatever you've done this week, does any of it matter in this moment? So drop it all and let all your relaxation flood over your body and let yourself go. And without any effort, let yourself fall inside yourself more and more. Falling deep inside without any doing. Literally falling, allowing yourself to fall more and more inside. Allowing yourself to be yourself. Letting yourself be fully here. Letting yourself be fully now. Being is always about now and here. Be here now. Be you now. And for the next 58 minutes, let just the sound of my voice be all you pay attention to. Whatever sensations arise, whatever feelings come up, whatever thoughts pass through, just allow them. No need to do anything with them. If you like to notice them, but don't do any more. Just drop more and more into yourself, more and more into being, more and more into non-doing. And just consider the things I say to you. Consider that in everyday life, everything is designed to not let you drop into yourself, to pull you away from yourself, to distract you. More than ever before, more than any culture there's ever been, our culture bombards us with constant messages, constant pulling. Do this, buy that, go here, stop, go. Don't do this. Be here, be there. There's nothing wrong with doing what you have to do in life, but the problem is we lose ourselves. Meditations like this, in fact all the meditations at the Bodhi Center, are designed to help you come back to yourself. To put aside all the pushing and the pulling just for a little while and see what's really there. And without any effort, see if you can drop even deeper inside yourself. And without thinking about it, without making it into some kind of story or some kind of thought process, just taking it in, consider that throughout your whole life, the moments of non-doing, the moments of truly relaxing, the moments of really just being, have been few and far between. We're all taught, we're all schooled to never stop. We're all encouraged, particularly in this culture, particularly in these times, to accomplish, to get something done, to keep ourselves occupied. But consider that this was never the intention of how a human being is supposed to live. A human being certainly has to do, but it was never the intention that your whole life is given over to the doing. It's not the design of this universe. It's not the design of the human being. Yet most of us have been seduced by the culture, conditioned by the society, that this is what's important. Consider that what's more important is you. Consider that what's more important is peace. Consider that what's more significant is truth. The distractions of the society are all designed, not as a conspiracy, but just how things have evolved, to never stop and consider yourself. If you consider yourself too much, they'll call you selfish. I say to you, be more selfish. Be more concerned with you. Be more concerned with your peace. Be more concerned with your being. Be less concerned with the mechanics of life. Much of it you can do in your sleep. Much of it, in fact, you do in your sleep. You don't pay attention to it, you just get it done. You don't really think about driving to work, you just automatically drive to work. The problem is we put all our attention into these outside things, these things that don't really need all our attention. In this moment, here now, see if you can bring all your attention, every bit of it, to yourself. Inside, to your being, to what's always with you and in you, to what you are. Bring all of your attention, without effort, to this body now, to what you call you. And just feel yourself from the inside. There's a rat race going on and we're all in it. Consider what it would mean to stay in the race, but to give up the rat part, to not be caught in it. Doesn't mean you don't take care of everything you have to take care of, but it means that you take your attention out of it. You take your heart and soul out of it. You don't give yourself to it. You keep yourself. You reclaim yourself for you. Consider what that would mean. And recognize that nothing would change except how you feel on the inside. Everything would still get done. Everything would still happen. You wouldn't become sleepy and numb. You wouldn't become not attentive enough. You'd actually become more aware. You'd become more clear, more lucid. Most of us move around in a half fog. That's the trance of the society, the hypnotized state the culture puts us in. If you can withdraw from that, if you could drop out of that while staying in, it changes everything. You get yourself back. Consider that all of us have been taught and encouraged and made to give ourselves away to our jobs, to our families, to our friends, to the necessities of life. But they're not the real necessities. They're just the exterior demands. All these demands can be met without giving yourself away. Can you imagine in this moment pulling back and not giving yourself away so much? Seeing things in their correct significance, in their correct proportion. Most of the time, for most of us, we give 99% of ourselves to our activities and to the society, and we keep 1%. The correct proportion is exactly the opposite. Can you imagine what it would be like to keep 99% of yourself for yourself? Can you imagine a life with far less worries, far less anxieties, far less rushing, far less striving? Can you imagine a life that you live for you instead of for everything and everyone except you? This is how man was meant to live, for yourself. There's nothing selfish in it. The society will call it selfish because the society has a stake in keeping you going, in keeping you engaged in the societal picture, to keep you as the cog in the wheel. But man was never meant to be this way. You were meant to have 99% of yourself at all times. Can you imagine having yourself back? Reclaiming your own life? Saying to the society, in effect, yes, I'll fulfill your demands, but you don't get my soul. You don't get all of me. In fact, you don't need it. I can get everything done without giving up myself. Can you imagine reclaiming yourself? Meditation means reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your life, reclaiming your energy for you. This is in no way selfish. The more you do this, the more you'll be for others. The more of yourself there'll be to give others. The more loving you'll be. The more truly of service you'll be. Can you imagine not falling for the trick of calling it selfish? Realizing that this is the real selflessness, being concerned with yourself, making sure that you're living your life instead of missing most of it, most of the time? Are you willing to reclaim yourself? Are you willing to reclaim your life? Are you willing to recognize the heavy burden the society has put on you? Not maliciously, not out of bad intentions, but this is just the way societies work. Can you imagine not going along with that quite so much? Can you even imagine not going along with it at all and still getting everything done? Still being just as productive, still meeting all the demands and requirements, but not giving away your soul, not being fooled by society's hypnotic trance. Have you recognized how the trance is always operating? How it's always reinforced by everything around you, which is the society, the radio, the television, other people, obligations. This is not how man was meant to live. And there's no need to live this way. You can remove yourself from the din. You can remove yourself from the noise. You can remove yourself from the pressure. Everything stays the same on the outside, but you remove yourself from the inside. You bring yourself back to yourself, inside yourself. Right now, see how much you can bring yourself back to yourself, inside yourself. Feel yourself. Meditation means truly feeling yourself. Taking the time not to be distracted. Taking the few moments to center yourself, to be with yourself, to experience yourself. Meditation means valuing yourself. You're more than a cog in society. When you've gotten more money in your life, has it brought you more satisfaction? When you've gotten nicer things and a nicer car and a better house, did it bring you real satisfaction? When you graduated from school, when you accomplished some goal you worked on for years and years, did it bring you real inner peace? These are the tricks of society. Fulfill the obligations, and you'll be happy. It's a lie. Not a malicious lie, but a lie nonetheless. Can you imagine reclaiming yourself and stepping away from the lie? Can you imagine loving yourself? Really loving yourself? See how much you can love yourself right now. See if you can feel love for yourself. The whole society, our whole life tells us, love others. See if you can love yourself. How can you love others if you can't love yourself? The real loving others starts with loving yourself. See how much you can love yourself in this very moment, here and now. Feel yourself, and love yourself from the inside. The way you've been told to love others, turn that to yourself. You're probably very good at loving others. You've loved many times, many ways. Now turn that to yourself. Turn that caring, that loving, that concern, that attention to yourself right now. See what that feels like. Is it easy? Is it hard? However it works for you, see how much you can love yourself in this moment. See how much you can feel for yourself in this moment. Aren't you just as important, just as precious as anyone you love? Bring yourself back into the equation, just for this moment, and see what that feels like. That's the true revolution. Finally, loving yourself, just as you are. Nothing needing to change. No criteria has to be met before you are worthy to love yourself. The people you love, did they have to meet a criteria? Did they have to prove something for your heart to be open to them? Be just as kind to yourself as you've been to the people you love, just in this moment. And open your heart right now to yourself. Be kind right now to yourself. Think of yourself, attend to yourself, inside yourself lovingly right now. Meditation means learning how to love yourself. Loving yourself is the opposite of following all the distractions in life, all the distractions in the world. How much can you love yourself right now? And can you love yourself even more than that right now? Nobody ever teaches us to love ourselves. They teach us love this, love that, love him, love her, love me. Nobody teaches you love yourself. And yet this is the most important teaching. Consider what the world would be like if every tiny child was taught to love themselves. Can you be that tiny child right now and love yourself? See what that feels like. Does it feel foreign and strange and odd? Does it seem somehow threatening? If so, then that's society talking to you. That's the internal society program saying, don't go there. You're not supposed to love yourself. That's selfish. Don't drop out. Fulfill your obligations. So don't believe it. If it seems hard, if it seems foreign, can you recognize that it's not meant to be that way? That that's a lifetime of miseducation? That that's just a conditioning? And if it's not hard, if it's easy for you in this moment to love yourself, can you imagine loving yourself far more? Can you imagine loving yourself in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening? Can you imagine loving yourself Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and all week long? Can you imagine loving yourself this year, and next year, and the year after that, and every year of life after that? Can you imagine caring enough, really caring enough about this life, about this society, about this world, to actually love yourself? Because that's the biggest contribution you could make to the world. That changes everything. That means your energy becomes a truly positive energy in this world. Not scurrying around trying to get this or do that, but literally radiating love. Can you imagine a life like that? It's not far away. It's not some wild idea. It's not some pie in the sky, new age notion. It's possible for anyone. It's possible for you. But only if you're willing to be more selfish. Only if you're willing to consider actually loving yourself. Only if you're willing to come out of the hypnosis that society conditions us into and saying, yes, I see it. It is a trick. I don't have to give everything away. I don't have to give myself away. I don't have to satisfy everyone else. I don't have to meet every obligation and put my whole heart and soul into it and spend my day worrying about whether it's going to get done. Are you willing to see the truth about that? Because that's what's required to love yourself. It's not enough to just say, oh, I'm going to love myself. You'll be distracted. The society will pull you in. Go here, do that, fix this, buy that, get this done. Well, you can go there. You can fix this. You can buy that. You can get this done. and still love yourself at the same time. It's not something you do in place of. It's something you do inside while you're doing everything else. And isn't it strange that it's just about remembering and nothing else? Can you imagine remembering to love yourself? Can you imagine all the distractions going on, but not allowing yourself to fall for the distractions? Can you imagine all the pushing and the pulling still going on, but not letting yourself be pushed or pulled? Can you imagine a different kind of life? Where the most important thing in it is you. That's the kind of life that actually does bring satisfaction. There's no other way. There's no other road to peace. There's no other way to truth other than through you, through your very life, through your very heart, through your very love. Nobody can hand it to you. Nobody can bring you there. You have to go. Can you imagine going? It's not a difficult journey. We're told again and again how difficult it is. It's not. That's a lie too. It's just a willingness. The magic word is willingness. Willingness to love yourself. Willingness to be what the society would call selfish. Willing to pay attention to you. Willing to put yourself back in the equation. Willing to be concerned just as much with yourself as with everything else. It's not that hard. It's not strange. It's how it was supposed to be. Can you imagine it for yourself? Can you imagine a different quality of life? Where real satisfaction is simple and comes easily just by appreciating yourself, just by being with yourself. And in doing that, peace comes. In doing that, truth starts to surround you. You become more like Teflon. The faults can't stick quite so well. The distractions can't claim you quite so easily. Can you imagine really loving yourself? And when you do, what you'll see, what you'll immediately experience is 1,000 times more love for others. You'll see yourself everywhere you look. Every person you interact with, you'll see yourself in them, and you'll see them in yourself. How is that selfish? Can you imagine loving yourself? for real? I say to you, with no hesitation, there's nothing selfish in it. Can you let go of the false idea that self-love is selfish? If you can love yourself, then you'll really love other people. Consider that if you can really love yourself, that's the beginning of real truth, of real peace, of real understanding. If you really love yourself, life will have a whole different quality. If you really love yourself, you'll enjoy all the little things. All the striving for satisfaction and happiness and good feelings will come by themselves without striving. All the striving won't get you there. Loving yourself will. And you have to love yourself just as you are. There's nothing wrong with you. You have your strengths and your weaknesses just like everyone. You have your good points and your bad points just like everyone. You have your gifts and your talents and your faults and your foibles just like everyone. Can you see how you're no different than anyone else? Can you see how all human beings are the same? Can you see that in fact, in truth, in reality, there's nothing wrong with you? You've been told again and again throughout your life how much is wrong with you. All that was a lie. How can there be anything wrong with you? Your life. Life takes whatever form it takes. You may be a soft person, you may be a hard person. You may be a smart person, you may be a stupid person. What's the difference? Your life. Whoever you are, good or bad, smart or dumb, kind or unkind, irritable or jovial. Be yourself. You deserve love and to love yourself no different than anyone else. There's plenty of people ready to judge you. Don't judge yourself. Let the fools do it. They'll do it anyway. If you need to judge yourself truly. Judge yourself for what you really are, a human being. With good points and with bad points, with strengths and with weaknesses. This is the only reasonable judgment. Anything else is false. Anything else is misguided. Anything else has been implanted in you by the society, by well-meaning others who tried to teach you the right way. But the right way involved telling you what's wrong with you. Can you reclaim your life and see that there's nothing wrong with you? Can you see that everything you thought was a problem, everything you thought was something wrong in you, is just some set of circumstances. It's not a sin. It's not some elemental fault that has to be fixed for you to be okay. Your life, you're okay already. You came here okay. You're okay now, and you'll leave here okay. Loving yourself means seeing that. Loving yourself means really knowing that, not as some message that you hope is true and try to convince yourself. Really seeing that it's true. Really seeing that everybody's the same. Outside appearances differ, personalities differ, strengths and weaknesses differ, but it's all the same. Can you see that? This person is one set of marbles, this person's another set of marbles, and you're your own set of marbles. Some are blue, some are green, some are red, some are clear, some are dark. It's just a different set of marbles, but they're all marbles. Everybody's the same. So what if somebody's tall and somebody's short? So what if somebody's old and somebody's young? So what if somebody's black and somebody's white, somebody's brown and somebody's yellow? So what if somebody has black hair and somebody has blonde hair and somebody has blue eyes and somebody has green eyes? So what? Can you see that everybody's the same? If you love yourself, you'll start to see that all the time. If you're willing to love yourself, you'll start loving everyone. If you're willing to love yourself, you'll see there are no differences. They're just on the surface. They don't mean anything. What's the difference between a set of marbles that's blue and a set of marbles that's yellow? No difference. Can you see how everyone's just like you? Can you see how you're just like everyone? Meditation means seeing this more and more. When you really see it, when it becomes impossible not to see it, life has a whole different quality. No one's your enemy, even if they're against you. No one's doing anything to you, even if they are. Nobody's victimizing you. Can you see that you're not really a victim of anything? If you're willing to love yourself, the day will come when you'll never feel like a victim. If you're willing to love yourself, you'll start accepting everything just like it is. Meditation means accepting everything just like it is. But consider that it has to start. with yourself. If you really love yourself, you'll really accept yourself. It's not the other way around. It's not first you have to accept yourself and then you'll love yourself. That's the hard way. That hardly ever works. What works much more easily is just love yourself the way you love others. And then you'll accept yourself truly, just as you are. You'll see that nothing is so horrible. Nothing is so terrible in you or about you that your life has to be about fixing it. All of that is an illusion. All of that is not the truth. All that striving to be better takes you away from yourself. Consider what life would be like if you truly loved yourself. I guarantee you, it will be a better life. Can you imagine a life where you're just as important as everyone and everything else? Put yourself back in the equation. In fact, it's your life, no one else's. Only you can put yourself back in the equation. Only you can be willing to love yourself. And in that kind of life, small moments become glorious moments. In that kind of life, a smile from a stranger becomes a sunrise. In that kind of life, happiness comes naturally. In that kind of life, the light outshines the darkness.